Hey, good afternoon. I'm Chris McCord, Managing Director and Co-founder of Healthcare Growth Partners, an investment bank and merchant bank focused on health IT. Introducing Cognetyx today. We've all heard the stories about HIPAA violations, stolen records from the inside, and ransomware attacks from the outside. And the list goes on. We also know that machine learning and artificial intelligence are the hottest domains being discussed today. Cars can drive themselves, marketing is more precise than ever, and decision support sits within the Internet of Things. Big players such as Apple, Google, IBM have all announced heavy investment in machine learning projects such as Siri, Google Assistant, and Watson. But data security remains to be conquered. Financial institutions have been using behavior analysis techniques for years to defend against stolen credit cards. However, for healthcare, this type of technology has been virtually impossible for a variety of reasons. This is where Cognetyx has made an impact. By approaching this problem differently, Cognetyx ambient cognitive cyber surveillance is poised to turn the tables against cybersecurity threats in healthcare. Santosh Varughese is here to share more. Santosh and I worked together a few years ago for his first startup, HealthPost, when we sold that company to advisory board. Santosh, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon. My name is Santosh Varughese. I am the co-founder of Cognetyx, and we're going to talk about patient health records. Cognetyx is solving a current insidious problem that is actually worsening. It's the security of your personal health records. 1 in 3 Americans have had their health records compromised. That means a third of you in the audience here has had your health records compromised in one way or another, and you don't even know about it, or you may have gotten a letter. What that means is that $8 billion is actually what it costs hospitals for remediation. These are things like lawsuits, credit card monitoring services, et cetera. But the bigger impact is about 40+ billion to the US economy. We decided to step back and figure out, why is this still happening in this day and age? You know, we can go to Mars, we can go to the moon, we have driverless cars, but we can't figure out how to solve this problem. So we asked different questions, and we looked at the problem differently. And we arrived at the following key insights. Oops, sorry. We discovered through research that 45% of all hacking or data breaches are done by outside criminals. This is what we hear about in the news and TV, et cetera. But there is a big gorilla in the room that nobody talks about because it just can't be solved yet, which are insiders. These are employees, staff members who have access to all this data, and they can snoop on anything else that they want. And then another big gorilla is 23% vendors and contractors. They have access to your highest level systems. Now, all 3 of them have a common Achilles heel. What do they do to get the data? Login ID. The login ID and credentials that we all take for granted. Hackers hack through systems to steal login IDs. Insiders already have the login IDs. Vendors already have login IDs. So if we can take the login ID and create a new defense layer where we are learning the behavior, habits, and patterns of what users do when they access an application, we can create a digital fingerprint of normal user activity. So imagine that to be a baseline fingerprint, a digital fingerprint of normal user activity. So we learn this, we remember it, this is what Cognetyx does, and the next time the same person comes on to that same application, it's a match. However, if somebody steals that login password, they have no idea of what the behavior pattern is. And so our system will virtually instantly recognize that it's an imposter. And we can intercept and stop the data breach very fast, which is not possible today. Well, it was actually technologically impossible for the last few years until a couple of things happened, which is cloud computing. Computing power has now been commoditized. You can get supercomputing power for very low cost, and over the next 5, 10, 15 years, it's going to be cheaper and cheaper. And then there have been advances you've heard before today algorithms for machine learning and artificial intelligence. These two forces have enabled what we just talked about earlier to occur now. We call it ambient cognitive cyber surveillance. It is able to authenticate true user identity with the credentials. It can track who, what, where, when, why any person or any application is accessing data. And we call that Cognetyx. It's a self-learning, adaptive machine intelligence which can detect and predict in advance anomalous user access behavior. And we have a patent on it that's issued, and we have 2 more pending. With that technology, we are currently able to outperform any system that's out there, and it continuously learns so the performance increases. Right now, Cognetyx is able to capture 9 out of 10 breaches in real time. Compare that with competition that, if they're even working, can capture 3 out of 10, and homegrown systems 1 out of 10. So now we have all this data. We show it on one screen to make it very easy for you to understand what's going on in your system, whether it's a local hospital or worldwide. We already integrate with all of these systems. We actually use our own technology to digest this information and parse it, and so we can understand this data even though they may not give us the fields. We are deployed, and we actually are catching criminals right now. We are generating revenue. We are growing very fast. And we are raising $10 million to accelerate that growth and to really meet this challenge head on. Thank you.